Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group and the Bradford Group Consulting. And for those of you who have been following us for the past 2 years, can you believe we are in season 3? I am so excited about this first episode of season 3. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, Choose to Challenge is a platform designed to challenge our mindset, systems, norms, anything that is keeping us in the box and from excelling and elevating to the highest and best version of ourselves. This show is especially designed for that woman that feels like there's got to be more in life. Well, our guests will show you, despite your challenges, despite your hurdles, that you can choose to challenge those, kick them aside, rise, elevate, and be the change that you were meant to be in the world. Today, I'm so excited because I have a very special guest, the amazing Nikki Theda Larsen, who will join us. And she has a very deep, powerful, and emotional story about her journey from dealing with children who have had mental disabilities, the loss of children, the loss of her husband, the challenge in trying to keep a business together, finding herself faced with being a single parent. To those that are listening, how many of you can relate to some or perhaps even all of those challenges, right? Or at least you know someone that's been through that. But the amazing thing is Nikki found a way to rebuild, to tap into her genius, to find the tools that she will, I hope, share with us in her business that she has as a coach, tools such as emotional freedom technique, neuro-linguistic programming, the I think it's called skinny jeans, and much, much more. And I know you all are thinking, okay, I think I've heard of those, EFT, NLP, but what do all these letters mean? We'll get to that. But right now, I want to bring on the amazing Nikki Larsen. Nikki, welcome, welcome. How's it going?
Oh, it's just going great. And I'm very happy and I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you for saying yes. And Nikki, you are the founder of a coaching firm called Strong and Serene. And we're going to get into how you came up with that name, but I would like you to just sit for a moment, as comfortable as you want to be, and tell us a little bit about this journey where you found yourself facing mountain after mountain after mountain. And that is the topic of our show, when you thought there were no more mountains to climb. Take it away, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you. I I feel like I have quite a journey and it's rare and yet not uncommon because as I go around I find other people who have experienced many of the same things. And so I'm not unusual, which is what delightful to know because we all work together. I married young, right out of high school, and had children right away. And 3 of the 5 children were born with cerebral palsy and developmental delay. And by the time they had come along, we didn't know all of this. And and so through that, I found myself overloaded. How do you care for all of the children? It's like having triplets in diapers and needed to be fed because 2 of the children could not feed themselves, and and the 2 big boys were born with hearing loss, one with hearing loss and one with dyslexia. And I'm here to tell the moms and dads that uh, your children can overcome dyslexia because my son graduated well from high school, went on, got his degrees, got his master's degree, and now is an instructor at a university. And I'm just really proud of the fact that he said, I am what I am, and this is what I do. I just take the D's and flip them to P's and etc. And so he has technique. And and my son that has hearing loss has learned to lip read, and he does that very well. And my three little guys, my three little children that have developmental delay, Lisa died, or I should say, she lived till she was 3.5. And then when she passed away, she had contracted meningitis, meningococcal meningitis, which was very, very contagious. And I was 9 months pregnant when she died. And I could not touch her. I could not hold her. I could not be even in the same hospital room with her because I needed to protect my baby and myself. And so it was many, many years for me to be able to work through that grief. And I did it with emotional freedom tapping. I had a buddy as I was going through the training, and we worked immensely on that. And finally the day arrived where I could cry, and I sobbed for the longest time, and because it had been 7 years since she had passed, and before I could really, really cry. She's a delight. I have her picture on my refrigerator, and my youngest one is lived till he was 18, 17 and a half. And he was my most disabled one. He didn't progress, didn't develop beyond a 4-month-old. So he could just barely crawl. He could roll over. His eyesight was affected, but his hearing wasn't. And so he developed that hearing. And his favorite toy was little plastic wrappers that come in cookie packages, because he would take that and he would hold it, and then he'd just rattle it back and forth and laugh and giggle. Well, the two big boys learned to care for Jeremy. We were a family project because it took a lot to feed and care and bathe and lift up and carry and put in the wheelchair. And his wheelchair reclined back, and the big boy said, "That's Jeremy's tot rod." And we put a sign on it, tot rod. So whenever we walked down, say, the aisle at the mall, we had Heather with her walker and Jeremy in his wheelchair and the two big boys. And of course, Lisa had passed by that time. We just took up the whole aisle, and we were a sight to be seen. We just got used to being stared at. And it's not stared at because of meanness. It's just looked at because it's different. We're just different. And curiosity that's human. And I learned to accept that. And when I had my bookstore, the students from the junior high that was right behind the store would come over, and they'd come in and they'd ask all kinds of questions about Jeremy. Can he do this and can he do that? And so we had an opportunity to educate these young people that he's just normal. There's just things that he can't do, but he's just like you. He wants to be held, he wants to laugh, he wants to be fed, and he wants attention. He wants to be loved. And so we cared for him until he was 17 and a half, and he had surgery because he had scoliosis. And he went into respiratory arrest. And I'm a very religious person. And when he had been intubated and put on life support, I said to the doctors, they said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want you to give me a room where I can go and pray." And they did. And I came back and I said, "We need to remove the life support. That's the right thing to do." And the doctor said to me, "Now, you need to know that this could take a long time. This could take days." And I turned to him and I said, "Not if I get my miracle." And my oldest son was with me. My other son was on his mission, and my oldest son was with me. And so we took all of the apparatus off him, and we held him as he passed from this life into the next life. And it was tearful and hard and sweet, because we knew that he had gone back to Heavenly Father. And what a wonderful place for that to be. So I have 2 children waiting for me in the next life, and I will be able to be with them. And we will all be together as a family. After he passed away, or before he passed away, my late husband did the very best that he could take care of himself. And mental illness is a really big issue. And he fought all the days of our married life to be able to be happy and cheerful and not sad and depressed. And he really tried. He, in the end, he took a weapon and took his life. And so that was when the elders came to my door and gave me the news. I just fell to the floor in tears, and because it was just so hard. So I've had an opportunity to pick myself up. And at that point, my friends, as I had the bookstore, I had that for 30 years. And my friends, after watching me go through Lisa and through Jeremy's death and then my husband's death, they titled me, "You're just a woman of steel. You are so strong. And how are you getting through this?" And so, I would kneel beside my bed every night. And there was one time that I just put it all out to Heavenly Father, and I was just beyond consolation. And I said, I can't do this by myself. And there was just like a tunnel of light that came down that just washed over me. I could literally feel God's hands holding me at that time. And he continued to hold me until he felt I was ready to stand on my own. And I remember saying to him, "I'm not ready. Let's not do this yet." And he continued to hold me and to support me. So, this is what my life has been like. Is I go to God and say, "This is what I need." For instance, my oldest daughter, who is also developmentally delayed and with cerebral palsy, and she is well into her 50s and diagnosed with colon cancer 2015. And she went through surgery and went into the hospital several times and went through radiation. And we are 5 years out. And last June, her reports came back that the cancer had returned. And so the doctors and myself and my husband, I remarried, great man, great man. And we all consulted and decided the kind of colorectal cancer surgery that Heather needed. And the result is that she now wears an ostomy bag. And that has changed our life. And my husband said to me, we live in a 2-story house. And he said, "Let me give my side of the bed up to Heather, so you're right beside her. And I will sleep downstairs until she's ready to go back to her room." And so that's what we did. I remember one night laying down and saying, "God, I cannot do this by myself," because it was a whole learning curve, a whole new way of life. It's affecting every avenue of our life. And we are now 2 months out, and I'm doing it, and she's doing it, and it's okay. It's not a cakewalk, but it's not hard either. So, once again, Heavenly Father just held me in his arms and said, "You can do this." And I just had a friend say to me, "We do hard things." And I said, "You're right. We do hard things." Along the journey in about 2008, I was in a business class for coaching because my husband and I decided we wanted to be business coaches. And and put our practices together. As I said, he's a psychotherapist and very good at what he does. And so we started studying through Mentor Coach, which is for psychotherapists. And I was in a business class, not associated with the Mentor Coach. And I was whining and crying. This is so hard. I can't do this. It's just beyond me. I don't know how to do this. It's just hard. I feel paralyzed. I feel like I'm just stuck. And if I use the word paralyzed once in that conversation with the instructor, I used it several times. That was a Monday. Tuesday, I had an earache. Wednesday, I had a ringing in my ears. And Friday morning, I woke up with half my face paralyzed. And I had Bell's palsy. And everything was dragging down, and my speech was affected, and trying to eat was a joke. I had to put my fingers together as I put my spoon in my mouth. But you know what? I knew I gave that to myself, because first you think it, then you do it. And I knew that my mental picture gave me Bell's palsy. I was later on that day in a conversation with some of my buddy friends on a mastermind, and they said, because they could tell my speech was weird, what's going on? I told them, and they said, well, Nikki, let's do some tapping. That was my first introduction to emotional freedom technique. So responsive was my healing that I thought, I don't want to do business coaching. I want to do holistic coaching. I want to do healing coaching. I want to take people from pain to gain. And so I switched my direction immediately, and then subsequently took classes and certified, and subsequently did another experience I had, which directed me in my holistic career, is my heart was beating hard. As I lay down at night, my heart would go, chuk, 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 but my whole chest would just shake. And so I thought, okay, I've got heart disease or something. So I went to the cardiologist, and I did all the medical tests that I needed to do, and got a clear scope of things. I thought, okay, if this is not physical, what is it? It's emotional and mental. And twice I had two different people say, Nikki, you need to do some emotion code. And I said, oh yeah, right, okay. So my buddy friend connected me with somebody who was certified in emotion code. So I went to her, and emotion code uses magnetic fields to release emotions, trapped emotions. And so I'm talking to this lady on the East Coast in Ottawa, Canada, and she's asking me questions, and I'm answering, and that's all I'm doing is I'm answering questions. And she runs this magnet over her head, and I thought, oh, brother, what have I gotten myself into? Okay, so I had two sessions because I bought two of them. My sister, who had encouraged me to go, said one day about 6 or 7 weeks later, because before that I felt like I had an elephant's foot on my chest, and it was hard to breathe, and every night I had to be concerned about this heart, that it's racing now. Am I having a panic attack? Do I need to go to the emergency? What do I do with Heather? What do I do with Brooks? And I just lay there, and it was settled down. So we were several weeks past my 2 sessions, and my sister says, so, Nikki, how's your heart? I actually did a foot plant stop on the floor, because I thought, if you don't experience it, you don't miss it. And I realized that I wasn't having the hard beating heart. I wasn't having the fast heart. I wasn't having the panic attack things at nighttime. They were just gone. And it took her asking my question and pointing my focus to what was and what is now. And as a result of that, I have since certified in body code, and recognizing that there's so much healing in releasing trapped emotions, and And I've had client after client who have come to me with a great deal of emotional pain. And as we work through it and release it, they go, wow, exactly as I did. Wow. Wow.
Let's talk about that. And thank you so much for sharing this very emotional journey and being so transparent with us. To our listening audience, we are here with Nikki Theda Larsen, and we are talking about when you thought there were no more mountains to climb. We have heard her journey from being a mother of 5, losing 2 beautiful children, dealing with a daughter who has been developmentally challenged, and now has gone through her cancer journey, had a surgery, now has an ostomy, and losing a husband, being blessed with remarriage, now with a new life partner. And when you're listening to this, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like another hill to climb, another mountain to climb. But to those that who were listening, I hope you heard something that was woven through the thread of what I picked up that Nikki shared, is that her faith, that she knew that this is bigger than me. If I stay in my own little space, it's going to consume me. It's going to just devour me, right? But I got to lean on something bigger than me. Her relationship with God, and that journey in faith. And I know some people feel a little uncomfortable with talking about where we stand in our faith, but we are, I believe, spiritual beings having a human experience. And if we're thinking about ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and getting all of those in order and creating a harmonious relationship there, then we can live expansively. I mean, you said something, and I'd like you to dig a little bit deeper into this. You talked about those hidden emotions, right? And those hidden emotions were manifesting physically: Bell's palsy, heart palpitations, I'm certain stress, anxiety, sleepless nights. There's probably a list of things that you were dealing with. But you also said that there was the spoken word. You spoke something into existence. So can we explore that? How if we're not careful, our words have power, right? Our
Oh,
thoughts.
our brain is listening all the
Yes,
time,
yes.
all the time. And it hears things more in a negative way than in a positive way. And so what we say to ourselves so often comes true. And being careful of our language, being careful that it really is, first you think it, then you do it. And so if we create the picture or the day that it's going to be a crummy day, excuse me, a crummy day, more than likely it's going to be. But if we picture our day verbally, say, this is a great day. My husband will say, when somebody says, how are you? And he'll say, I'm happy. And it takes people back. But he is a very happy man. But he's also programmed himself, taught himself that what we think we manifest. And I just so believe that our brains are so powerful, our thoughts are so powerful that they can create the life that we want. And yes, I wake up and I've had these experiences, but my husband says, I don't know of anyone more positive than Nikki. And sometimes I think, who's he talking about? Because I have to discipline me. And
Exactly. And I like what you just said. I have to discipline me. And we have a choice to see the world however we choose to see it. And you choose to look at life through a different lens. Like even when you were sharing your daughter, her name, I believe you said Lisa.
Lisa was the daughter that passed away.
And I loved what you said. You said she lived, right?
Yeah.
Instead of she died. It's like you're celebrating her life. You're still celebrating her life. Seeing her every day. And I think that because we live in such a negative and toxic world, people become a little overwhelmed and they forget that we should always be celebrating this amazing life. We all have an exit. We don't know when that's going to be, but what we do have is this specific moment. Like right now, it's you and me. This is where life is happening.
Yeah.
Right here. But so often people are so concerned about what may happen, what did happen that they can't change, right?
Oh, and
But
that's so
you,
sad. Yeah, so
right?
sad to live in the past in
Yes.
such a hard way. Yeah.
And
One of the things
you
that I've
found a way
learned,
with, I mean, like you said, your children, as you guys were walking, doing your shopping out and about, that people are looking because it's different. But is it really? Or is it that we've become so inwardly focused that we really don't see the world around us? Because your story is one of many people
yes.
around the world who've dealt with, developmentally challenged children, who've dealt with suicide, who've dealt with single parents. But when we're in our little me, and did I say life's all about me world, we don't see everything else that is around us. But I also want to say the beauty of the quote unquote oddity that is around us. Because I love how you spoke about Jeremy. I didn't meet him, but I literally, as you were talking, I had a visual picture of him. And I'm sitting here just smiling. And I think that's what celebrating and living life is all about. We all have a journey, whatever that may be. But are you sitting there moping about why me, oh me? Or okay, this is now how can I make the best of it? And I'd like you to talk a little bit about these tools that you have. Like you said, EFT. I know I was a chronic migraine sufferer. And someone introduced me to EFT, and I haven't had a migraine since. And that was like 30 years suffering with migraines. So
Isn't
I'd
that
like you to talk
marvelous?
about EFT and also the emotional code, because so much of what we are and what we experience is subconsciously driven and manifested, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a book written that I had at the bookstore years ago. It's called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die.
Mm.
And that's true. When we have a life experience, good, bad, or otherwise, those experiences are held in our body. I had a massage one time, and this lady was working on my left calf, and she said, have you ever been thrown off a horse? And I said, yeah. She says, well, you're holding that memory right here. So the experiences that we have can be even create what is called a heart wall. And I remember after I was widowed, I said I'm just gonna brick my heart because my marriage wasn't wonderful. I've had these all these deaths and everything, and then at a point I said, you know what? I'm just gonna brick my heart. That was part of being the woman of steel. Well, when I went to the emotion code session, she literally found that not only did I have a heart wall, but my heart wall was 16 feet deep, thick, 16 feet thick. And as we released the emotions connected that I had held in my body, in my heart, in my spirit, that wall reduced and doesn't exist. And so by using the emotion code to release the emotions that we have at an age, an event, and a location, and with whom, um, the emotional freedom technique and body code don't change our life. It doesn't make whatever we had not happen. It releases the hurtful, hard emotions around it. It makes it endurable. but it doesn't change the fact that something happened to us. It just becomes a memory and an experience that can be spoken about without having those emotions come to the forefront that are so, and that's a word that I would use at this point, paralyzing, because we can't get past that emotion. We can't see what life is like on the other side. And my little Heather comes in the depths of her first surgery recovery in the middle of the night. She woke up, her eyes were terrorized, and I spent 24/7 with her. And I said, I'm right here. And she said, Mom, tap me. And so we did. And so the other day I was not in a real good mood. She said, Mom, tap yourself. I said, yes, sweetheart, you're right. So you can, I can take, we can take ourselves out of unresourceful attitudes. For instance, if we're dieting and we want a cookie and that chocolate is calling to us, we can do a couple of things. We can go eat it and enjoy it and then suffer the consequences of high blood sugar and more pounds. Or we can tap to the emotion, release that, and follow it with, I can have it tomorrow. And tomorrow comes and we don't want it. So there's all ways to be able to talk to ourselves, tap, emotion code. It's pretty dynamic. Pretty dynamic.
Well, we are going to take a little break and come back. We are here with guest Nikki Larsen, and we are going to learn more about some of these tools that you can use to challenge the mountains that are in your life and rise above and be the best that you were intended to be. So let's talk a little bit more about these techniques. And I'll just pick the one, EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. Would you mind taking us through a little exercise? Because some people, this is very new. They may have heard it. It may be totally foreign to them. What is it? How can they tune into those buried emotions in order to experience release?
Oh, great question. Thank you for asking. When we're in a spot that's not real positive and that we want to change, we're not liking ourselves, we're not liking what's happening, we're not liking how we're feeling, we will evaluate from a 0 to 10. What's the level? 0 being no emotion involved in it, 10 being off the chart, and high. And so we identify what is our distress level. And then as we tap on the side of our hand, we are talking to our subconscious brain with this. And we're giving our subconscious brain an understanding and a confidence and a calming that we're going to make some changes, but it's okay. Because the conscious brain's job is to record our life. Everything we see, hear, feel is recorded, and to protect us. And so that's why change is very hard sometimes, because our subconscious brain says, that's dangerous. No, you're not going to do it. And so it kind of sabotages us. So as we tap here and say a truth statement, even though I feel, no, let's say, what's the subject? How about that chocolate cookie?
Okay.
All right, we'll do chocolate chip cookies. Even though I want that chocolate chip cookie, I love and accept myself. Now, what I've just done is I've made a true statement. I want the cookie, but then I followed it up with I love and accept myself, because now I'm talking to the subconscious brain saying, it's okay. We're going to make a change, but it's okay. Even though I want this chocolate chip cookie, and you could say this after me if you would like.
Even though I want this chocolate chip cookie,
I am A-OK.
I am A-OK.
Even though this chocolate chip cookie has my name on it.
Even though this chocolate chip cookie has my name on it.
I accept where I am.
I accept where I am.
And who I am.
And who I am.
Right here and right now.
Right here and right now.
Even though that chocolate chip cookie smells so yummy.
Even though that chocolate chip cookie smells so yummy.
I accept who I am.
I accept who I am.
And that I could have one maybe tomorrow.
And that I can have one maybe tomorrow.
And I don't need it right now.
And I don't need it right now.
Okay, so now we're going to tap on certain points of the body. And these are acupressure points that are interconnected and talk to each other. So we're tapping on points that are identified as very motivational for moving emotions. So at the top of the head, even though I want this cookie.
Even though I want this cookie.
I really, really, really want this cookie.
I really, really want this cookie.
At the side of the eye now, right at the side of the eye or the eyebrow. I want this cookie.
I want this cookie.
And nobody's going to take it away from me.
And nobody's going to take it away from me.
Under the eye. Especially you.
Especially you.
Especially me.
Especially me.
Under the nose, the cookie, I can smell it. Oh, yum.
Cookie, I can smell it. Ooh, yum.
Here it is, right in front of me.
Here it is, right in front of me.
And I want to eat it.
And I want to eat it.
And the collarbone now, right here at the collarbone. Yeah. This cookie is my downfall.
This cookie is my downfall.
I know it's not healthy for me.
I know it's not healthy for me.
It tastes so good, though.
It tastes so good, though.
It really does taste good.
It really does taste good.
Okay, now under your arm, right about 4 inches below your armpit. Even though I know this cookie is not healthy.
Even though I know this cookie is not healthy.
I still want it.
I still want it.
I can taste it.
I can taste it.
Nobody's going to stop me.
Nobody's going to stop me.
At the top of the head. Okay, now take a deep breath. Back to the top of the head. Even though this cookie is in front of me.
Even though this cookie's in front of me.
Eyebrow point. I'm open to the idea.
I'm open to the idea.
That I could pass on it.
That I could pass on it.
Side of the eye. I'm open to the idea.
I'm open to the idea.
That I really don't need it.
That I really don't need it.
Even though I want it.
Even though I want it.
Under the eye. I acknowledge that I want it.
I acknowledge that I want it.
Under the nose. And I acknowledge that my higher self doesn't need it.
And I acknowledge that my higher self doesn't need it.
On the chin point. Nobody's going to take my free agency.
No one's going to take my free agency.
Collarbone. I will make the choices myself.
I will make the choices myself.
I choose to be strong.
I choose to be strong. Under
the arm. I choose to have a slim body.
I choose to have a slim body.
And healthy blood sugar.
And healthy pleasure.
Top of the head. Oh, yuck. What reasons is that?
Oh, yuck. What reasons is that?
Eyebrow point. Certainly very good.
Certainly very good.
Side of the eye. My new story is.
My new story is.
I can have a chocolate chip cookie.
I can have a chocolate chip cookie.
Under the eye. Whenever I want.
Whenever I want.
It's easy peasy.
It's easy peasy.
To eat it or let it go.
To eat it or let it go.
On the chin point. I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go now.
I choose to let it go now.
Hold your wrist. Breathe in. And one more breath in. Now go back and rate what would be the desire to have a chocolate chip cookie right now.
No desire.
No desire. If one did have a desire and say their rating went up, that would be great. We've just tapped into a really emotional event. Continue to tap again. It doesn't matter what you say. Words aren't going to make a big difference, but acknowledging the fact that, oh, I want that chocolate chip cookie, and tap through all of it until such time as the numbers go down. I had a client that had to tap 64 rounds before it finally went down, and it did go down. It took that much to get through the subconscious to say, this is okay. You're safe. And I'm going to get on board with you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. To those of you that want more information on EFT and a host of other tools to help you break through those emotional blocks in your life, to release and to reprogram yourself subconsciously to have the life you want, the life you were intended to have, please reach out. The contact information is below for Nikki at nikkilarsen.com, or her phone number 209-602-8213. Nikki, we're almost out of time, and I just want to take myself down and allow you about 3 to 5 minutes to talk to the audience and share anything that you feel is most important at this time. Is that good?
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Folks understand that we have a choice. We can continue to live as we do in maybe good times, even hard emotions, feeling bad about ourselves. We can do something about it. We have powers in our fingertips by using the emotional freedom technique. And it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing. To be able to go from unresourceful, even from a suicidal level, to a desire to live, to release weight, to release grief, to release anger, to release fear, and many other emotions. It's really good to be able to have this tool at hand, because there are so many pressure points that can de-stress panic attacks and anxiety attacks and nervousness and emotions and feelings that tie us up and cause us to become very unresourceful and to stop our progression of the day or the challenges that we want to conquer. And we certainly know that life gives us challenges in every which way, and we didn't ask for these. There's sometimes I want to say to God, can we talk? Because it's like I sometimes have more than what I can handle. And so I use my tools on myself. I'm a walking, talking project. And there are so many things that are coming to us right now, mountains that we never thought we would have ever. And we don't know what the future brings. But being able to handle the emotions instead of letting the emotions contribute to the mountain will cause you to have great calm, great peace when people around you are panicking and choosing to have attitudes and feelings that aren't healthy. And we certainly know that our attitudes and our feelings contribute to our health and our well-being. And don't we all want to be healthy? Don't we all want to be able to um, have control over our headaches, our stomach aches, our heart pounding hard, even our attitudes towards somebody who is not treating us very well? We can rise above. And I have a motto that I choose. I choose to be happy. I choose. And then I follow it up with whatever. And I do that only because I can use EFT to support that choice. And if you would like to have a chat with me, please call me, reach out to me, and we can have a wonderful talk about where are you? Where do you want to be? Do you want to change? Are you happy with where you're at? Because Jim Rohn said, we're not a tree, we can move. And that's an expression I've used for many, many years. So reach out to me and have a conversation with me. And let's find a way to be able to have you be able to help yourself out of the unresourceful attitudes, unresourceful challenges, and some emotional garbage that you don't need to carry. And that's a choice. We do not need to carry the emotional baggage that we've lived or that was handed to us through ancestors, because not all of our problems are ours. They have come with us into this life. So reach out to me and let's talk. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us for this third season of Choose to Challenge, episode 1. When you thought there were no more mountains to climb, please reach out to Nikki at the contact information below, Nikki at nikkilarsen.com, or her phone number 209-602-8213 to learn more about her, to find out what services she offers as a coach, perhaps have her on one of your stages as a guest speaker, and to learn how you can take these tools, start building and expanding your toolbox so you can live the best life possible. You do not have to suffer in silence. You do not have to be ashamed, but you do have to choose.
Yes, you do.
You do have to choose, yes?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Well, I want to again say thank you so much for joining us. If you choose to be a guest on Choose to Challenge, you have a provocative story that you want to share that shows how you've risen above a challenging moment in your life, please reach out to me at LaWanna at BradfordGroupMTG.com. Simply enter Choose to Challenge in the subject line, and our team will reach out to you and see about scheduling you for the beginning of the year. I can't believe we're already planning for 2023. Where did 2022 go, Nikki?
I know. Coming up fast.
Yes. So
Thank you so
again,
much for having me. Thank you for letting me tell my story. I really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you so much for saying yes. And to our listening audience, remember that your life are pieces of moments of time. What happened in the past doesn't have to shape your tomorrow, but it's up to you to choose, to push the envelope, to change your mindset, to realize that you are more powerful than you ever imagined. And just remember always, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. Until next time, be blessed. Thank you again, Nikki.
Thank you.